3.
Welcome back, float family and friends, to the Floating Light Live, where we articulate, postulate, and disseminate the post-float glow. My name is Megan. I am back to being your host again. We have two very special guests on here today, really talking about a very important topic that not a lot of people find that a float team can really help with. Opening the spectrum for more people to know and to find out. We are here today with Spencer, Dipsy, and Mitch, as always. We're talking about both of them with the Autistic Spectrum, learning their stories and how the float tank has played such a huge role in their lives. They also have been working at the Treffert Center in Fond du Lac with Dr. Donald. And he is actually a local doctor, worked on numerous things locally in the area as well. He is expert knowledge on autistic syndrome, has helped countries, countless people. He has advised popular media such as classic 1988 film Rain Man as well. Stick around. If you guys would please hit the love button, that little heart button, the red one. Show us your love. All the comments are posted on our big live screen so we can see what you are commenting. If you guys have any questions, please ask. We will be here to answer them. And we will be right back in just a few moments. Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I've been in the hot seat. It's been definitely a minute. It's always great being on the couch, but it's always nice being kind of behind the camera, being able to, really take control of everything. And this is such a great topic that I can't wait to talk about, Mitch being a close friend as well, and getting to know how his story has helped, and now being introduced to Spencer. So as always, we're going to kick off live, starting with how our floats went today. So we'll kick it over to the couch cam. Boom. All right. So we'll start off with Mitch today. How was your float?
Hold on.
I know you're still trying to...
I lost.
You're back.
Did you say everything you were going to say again?
What part?
I don't know. I think
We have Mitch.
We're just gonna go to the couch cam. So we're gonna talk about our floats. Mitch and Spencer and I were all able to float today. So as always, that's how we kick off our show. So we'll start with Mitch today. How was your float? I know when you had came on, I'd asked you, and you're like, I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Tried a new recording that I'm working on. If you hear a loud scream, it's John being frustrated with this. But either the Starlight has a new noise that I pick up with my sensitive hearing, or the track has some really insane energy. I'm going for the track just because it's a very special place for the people who recorded it, and it's very unique wildlife. There's some species that are only found in certain areas that are there, species of snail and moss, and there's just a lot of good energy from the people who are around the area and who've spent time there to sit and reflect, and hopefully I get to go. I will be going back soon when the seasons change, but hopefully even sooner. And that was interesting, and I need to finish tweaking it, but first time I've really felt like I was being like plugged in and energized because even other waterfall and water tracks I've had have been more like relaxing and calming, where this one really was more grounding.
Okay.
Which usually water doesn't ground you. I mean, it can, but and just it's very, just very empowering, and it wasn't even to its finalized form yet.
It's amazing. I'm really excited to hear the new tracks. So as you guys know, some of Mitch's tracks are uploaded into our system. He just re-uploaded new ones into our tracks as well. So now there's very specific ones. Like he was saying, you know, the waterfall. Is there a rain one?
So there's a rain one, which I recorded from inside my car here in Appleton last year when we had that really, cold rain after all that snow.
Yep.
Then there's a fire in the city, which is just, you know, kind of, you get some city noises, but the fire pit, some great noise in there because there was like a pine tree from a Christmas tree, and there was some warm sap, so you get that kind of like those pops and crackles. And then there is, I believe, one of the other waterfall tracks that I have, and the new one I just uploaded is a recording I got from a kind of like nature wildlife park area that's in the kind of the middle of the state, and I just sat there. So you start out with kind of the day tracks, and if you're in there, I believe once you hit about the 60-minute mark, you'll kind of get there, but I recorded as the sun was going down, so you get the day creatures kind of being out there, and then as the sun goes down, you hear the day creatures go to sleep and the night creatures come out.
That is awesome.
So like the crickets will pick up in the night, and they get some of the frogs you kind of hear there, but you still get some of the daybirds because it's the sun going down.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool track, and it's actually really cool. A couple tracks that I have, I'm working on getting into there. There's another one that I have from the frog tracks that I did, but in the orb, it really is really cool because it's not just sounds like it's coming when you're in the tank, but it sounds like the room itself is producing the sound.
Absolutely. And I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, there's such a different dynamic in that room, especially when it comes to the sound. You know, even when we did the singing bowls in there, I mean, we literally had the water shaking, you know, when we were, you know, doing that in there as well. And, you know, even, I mean, you still get that energy from the bowls in the rooms, but it's just a different vibration that you feel within it. As where when you're in the orb, it's more like I want to say hollow, but like a surrounding sound.
And then the way the room is built, and
absolutely with
the
the whole
tile and
dome.
everything, it echoes around, so it's really cool. And it just feels like with that nature track, the one I just uploaded, it feels like you're, you know, obviously you're not outside, but it kind of brings that. And maybe Spencer, when he talks about his stuff, can relate because he's the first one to try the track while floating. That when you're at least in the room, it feels like that you're there in the space, that there's nature around you, that if you could just imagine that, you know, you're just in the middle of nature, no one can see you, it's just you, the float tank, and the wildlife. It's much easier to imagine that in that room because of how the sound plays out, but not that it sounds bad in the other tanks, it's just gives a different feel.
Dynamic to it.
And to answer Jennifer's question, I am working on getting them up to purchase. But I'm newer in my experience for this, so I'm more trying to, as I perfect my skill and get feedback from people, I'm trying to give back. So like the stuff is available in the tanks, things like that. And I do have a Patreon that I am working on getting back up, that people can go and support my work for, that I'm going to be uploading and putting little pieces about the discussions, the different stuff about the area if I do, things like that, or try to a little bit blurb when I can, which you know, I thank the people who supported me last year, like Diana, but there will be info when I do get that fully up. If I'm not back on, we'll have info on that in the flyer stand that they have here at Floatlight. I'll put a little thing in there for people to grab.
We'll post it to Facebook too.
Yeah,
we'll post it
Facebook,
on social media.
But and maybe even
Scott.
Maybe even two, if we get a chance, we can grab a sample at some point for people to hear. But It's just really cool to bring that, because we so much lose nature.
Yeah.
We lose that contact with nature.
Exactly.
Or if you're in a bigger city, you don't have that ability, or even downtown Appleton, it's less noisy than what you have like Milwaukee or Chicago, but we lose that, and to be able to bring that, to use that to help maybe center yourself, to bring you into the float. I'm not going to be offended if people need to shut off my music, but hopefully it's because that they're ready to go that deeper level than because they disliked it.
Right.
And I think that's a good transition for Spencer.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, how was your float today, Spencer?
Well, every time I come, I get a new enchanting experience. And today I got a new higher level on my synergy and my level, and it was blissful. And honestly, you guys really need to check out Mitch's stuff and patronage, and I'd really like to know that info at the end of this, just because, like he said, the crickets, the surround sound, it literally felt I was in a pond, and it was just so enchanting. It was a great feeling. So, honestly, if you can, I'd really support Mitch. However, back to my amazing float. I think the crew and the cast as well in this make a huge part of how the float makes it today. And that's why I'd always support, because this tea is just delicious, guys, honestly. But
Great job, Dan, man.
and to Dan. But Megan, any other questions?
How's your float go? You said you got
Yeah, how was your
higher
float?
energy.
Oh yeah.
What
That
about
enchanting pond.
Enchanting Pond, yeah. Well,
Anything
It
beyond
couldn't
that?
have been just. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's that helped, but it couldn't have just been that. This is your third time floating.
this is my third time floating, but like I said, I'm not mincing my words here. Every time I'm getting a different experience. And this
Right.
time, I actually felt my body was getting heated because I had a separated shoulder about 8 weeks ago, and I felt a lot of heat tension right here and that healing.
Wow.
So I feel like I was getting super healed, honestly, and like my mind just kind of refreshes. It's like getting 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
And in that time, I feel like it's a good REM sleep.
Yep.
So I feel that I can get a lot more studying done. Anything with that energy I have, I can put to use. And this is why I really like coming down here, even though it's an hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Don't you live out in Point?
I live in Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac. Perfect. Yeah, so it was an interesting subject today for me. I actually went in and I had like a huge panic attack today.
Oh, wow.
That was really interesting. Like my body, like it was in this point where my physical body was calm, but like my spiritual body was like freaking out. Like I literally saw myself crawling out of the tank and like curling up on the floor and like crying. I was freaking out. My body was like shaking in the tank and everything. I was like, what is it? Like it was shaking, but it wasn't shaking. It was really weird. I was like, okay, like we're just gonna go with this today and kind of see what's going on. I finally calmed down, but then I just passed out.
Nice.
Just fell asleep.
As bad as it sounds, it also sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was kind of like, this is like really like a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
But like, and it's the thing that can happen when you guys float. Like, it is common. Like I've had it happen more than once on my account. But being able to re-center myself and talk myself back down
Nice.
helped me stay in a little bit longer than I actually had anticipated on staying in. I wasn't sure how long I was going to be able to last, but I had extended it longer than I normally would have.
To add on that point, Megan, the second time when I fell asleep, when I woke up, I did have a little panic attack. And but I calmed back down because I forgot where I was. I was in this black cube. I'm like, where the heck am I? But,
Yeah.
but it, like you said, the feeling of stress, but then relieving it. I
Yes.
feel there's no better place.
Absolutely. So how does the floating sun help you with your autism?
Well, honestly, autism is very hard to describe in words, but the best way I can say, for me, is that
Hi, Dave.
anxiety is very tough. And you always have like all these things in your head. And I feel for coming here and all these lights, And going into float honestly de-stresses my day. Even thinking about it, it's weird. After having a float for the next 2 days, if I think about it, I'm actually getting more relaxed. But back onto the autism part, it's almost like I'm craving a drug. So for me, for the longest time, before I did judo, I would be on a video game for like 20 hours a day because that was my instant gratification, and I just would never get enough of it. Because for me, for people that don't understand this, I had really no time management skills. So an hour for a person would be like, okay, I'm good. For me, that felt like a second.
Wow.
So I really had to manage that and control it. And honestly, before I did that, I'm happy that it happened because then I got to know judo, and it's really been a part of my life. I've been doing it for about 19 years. And I've been in the top 10 in my weight category, but at the same time, it was never more about that. It was always about how I could be the best person in my life.
Wow.
Just because in life, I feel that the only time when we're growing is if we're pushing ourselves or if we're giving back. And judo does both of these things. And that's why I'm so grateful that I can give an impact to other people. What about you, Dan? What gave you good float?
I didn't float this evening.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, but I floated a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I could still relate, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like what you were saying about being like judo has taught you not only to strive towards a goal daily, but also a lifetime. Like I think that's what a lot of people are missing in this day and age, and that's why that's why video games can be like not like they're all fun and games, but like they can get to a point where time management isn't the first priority. But that's just because humans don't have like a craft that we could work towards every day and attain, like judo or like carpentry or something, or musicianship, or like even recording. Like there's something that you can just sharpen yourself daily and just work towards for your life.
I like that.
Yeah. So like, how has your life changed once that switch? Like, I want to be the best person in my life, and what changed? Like,
well,
what exactly does that mean?
It was definitely not rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I was dealing with major anxiety and stress for 21 years. I'm still dealing with it. I'm 22 years old, but I was actually at the lowest part of my life. I actually wanted to take my own life, and that was the time that I really understood that I felt like a victim most of the time, and I thought how much I could achieve if I just put my perspective in helping other people and giving more impact. Because I always got a high off of doing those things. And I said, well, I want to be a mentor. I want to be a role model. I want to be a coach for other autistic and people that deal with mental struggles. Because in our society, like you said, there's instant gratification. People always hide their anxiety. It's like a weakness if we show it. And I pride myself with autism. And I know Mitch does too, because it's just something that allows us to go above and beyond than what an average person can do. But at the same time, we all have our starting points, and we all can grow to be who we want to be. And I feel greatness, success is something you do. Greatness is something we've already achieved. We all have the potential to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, and I want to get to Hope's question here, because that's,
it
kind of relates to how that plays out, and where I was going to go with the question Megan asked a little bit. And for me, it is sensory. And kind of you two like talking about too, like it's not so much that someone on the spectrum, whether with autism, is like subhuman or substandard, which kind of can be a lot. I mean, everyone, if you're nonverbal, yes, your brain is just a different way, or even if you are verbal, we all, like you said, you all start at different points, and sensory plays in a big part of that. If you think about way back when, being hypersensitive to sound or to light, or think of the skills you need in judo, right? As a hunter, right? That's going to mean you can hunt hunt prey more efficient,
Yep.
like better, or you have, better, you're going to be able to hunt bigger prey, which means feeding longer.
Exactly. And just to go on your point really quick, I was never the best thrower, but like with the sensory thing you said, it just popped in my mind. No one could really throw me because it was weird. Before I even thought about it, I would feel what they were doing and I would almost get out of the throw. So
Wow.
in judo, basically in order to win, you have to throw them on their back. And so there's different ways you can throw a person, but if you twist out and you land on your stomach or your butt,
Yep.
then that's technically no score.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to add on that sensory. I feel that all autism people or all autistic personnel, they just have that chance in sensory and whatever sensory they do have. I know mine is, I honed it, I developed it,
Yeah.
because when I first started, I had no coordination whatsoever. But all that practice and everything led me where I am today.
Right, and that's something still society values. Where back then, something like myself, where your skills might be the hunter-gatherer, like the hunter-gatherer. My skills would be the danger, when you have different animals, when they see danger, they'll make a call and warn the group. And having those things and having those oversensories. But with as much as I use modern stimulus and technology to help with my sensory issues, when it's used in a way that is not helpful to me, then it becomes bombarding.
Yeah.
I can see fluorescent lights flicker. With the hearing I hear, a good example of that is, when a light's about to go and you can hear it hum. Think of that for every single fluorescent light. Imagine then flickering too, and then you're going, hey, pay attention to the board.
Yeah.
But you have probably 20 of those lights, and you're trying to process your out, and then
That'd be impossible for me.
you're wondering why someone can't make it through the day, and all they can do is sit and scream and go under a desk.
Yeah.
And that's, even now where I've learned to be able to help, tune that out and work on that. And, just as I gotten older, my hearing's changed. Being in the float tanks helps bring that down.
Awesome.
Because there's no scent, right? The whole point of to be able to float and really let go is to get rid of all senses. And, I jokingly say I'm an annoyance to John because with how extra sensitive I am, I hear things that most people don't pick up on.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it is just either, it's maybe an artifact in a track I hear or something, but then, there is like you said, the ability to predict.
Yes.
Right? You're predicting that you're seeing movements, you're doing the math in your head in some way that's not, I'm going to show you how 2 + 2 = 4, or this advanced calculus. You're doing the math, you're applying pressure to your muscles. You're doing that all subconsciously in some forms.
Yes.
And, like that, to know, but you're predicting that someone's going to throw you because of your past experiences of possibly being thrown that way.
Yeah.
And the same thing kind of comes in with that, that even though I lose track of time mentally,
Yeah.
I think that part of the fact that I can sense when I'm supposed to come out based on knowing what time I'm supposed to be in there,
Yeah.
that, that's somehow there's something that's still keeping track of time inside of me
Yeah.
that I'm not aware of. I don't have a clock even
Yeah.
in front of me. I'm not looking at my phone going, oh, what time is it before I go in? What time is it before I go in?
Well, and it's interesting too that you say that because we do have a client here who does float. And I mean, there's time and time again where he'll go in and we're like, all right, dude, where are you gonna, how long are you gonna float today? And he'll tell us and we're like, all right. And, it started out he would float for 90 minutes. And then one time we bumped his time up. He came, and he was like, oh, but he still got out at 90 minutes. He's like, I have that internal clock where I just get out at XYZ amount of time. But he's actually worked on it and he's progressed to now longer times, longer periods that he's able to be in a float tank and getting more of those benefits out of it than he had been before. Now, to transition then into where you guys are working and Fond du
Well, I was
Lac.
going to try to get Hope's question.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Which, and it depends on, for Hope, for you, what your, it really is going to depend on how that works, and what senses it's affecting and how that how it's affecting it. That, I guess, Spencer, you haven't tried the other cabins yet, so it's hard to say, but you like the orb.
Oh, I do, yeah.
I like the orb for certain things, but there are certain things that, I don't know if I would have gotten as good of an effect today had I been in the orb instead of the cabin, because I have the space to move out, that I can do what I need to do.
Yep.
Gotcha. So it's almost like feeling out when I book the appointment to see what I need or to do that. But again, to say that there isn't the one is better than the other is not being fair to the other cabin, because there really isn't one that's better. They all have personalities, just like people, and it's finding what person do you want to work with today. It's like,
and that is so true. Even when I first started even floating here, the Starlight cabin was my home cabin. That's what I call it. Like, that's where I started this journey, where I started having these amazing experiences. And then I started bringing people with me, and then I would put them in that cabin, and I would start floating in the floatlight cabin. And I had, more emotional experiences in that tank. And then we started doing live, and we transitioned into me floating in the orb. And then I had these really, really intense, vivid, very interesting states that I would go into. And it was usually states of fear. And, time and again, there's times where there was a tornado that came through, I was in the pod, and, I opened the door, and I was like, oh, what's going on out here? And then, that was the end of that dream. There's times where I was in the suite showering. I had just gotten out of a float, but I was technically floating, and I remember slipping and falling, and I, gouged my head open, and I was, freaking out, because I was like, oh, my God, he's I have 4 guys sitting outside my door, who's gonna come in and see me naked, oh my God. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm bleeding, the zombies are gonna eat my brain. Because we were just talking about the zombie apocalypse. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We were talking about the zombie apocalypse, and then I went and floated about it.
You'd really, even if you did fall in those rooms, you'd almost have to supernaturally fall to really hurt yourself.
Right.
For anyone who's never been in the rooms, who's listening, there really is, yes, there's always a chance to hurt yourself, but what's nice about here too is you take precautions. Right. But and it's weird for some of the sensory stuff. Sometimes when I get out too, when I'm in the tanks, each one is a little bit different.
Absolutely.
And I guess I describe it too, the Starlight is kind of my home, but it has the stars, and I kind of mess with the lighting in my own a little bit.
Yep.
But I realized that the Starlight was not helping me fully. It was helping me release, but because I was so focused on my technical mind, on the logic side, that the Starlight really wasn't helping me. And the floatlight not having the stars is just I have the bass light on or off, and I can have the music on or
Right. It's forcing you to.
It's forcing me to grow a little bit, and. I guess I would say, just like anything new, when we try to do something, when we're trying to grow at first, I had this kind of love-hate relationship with the floatlight.
Oh, yeah,
cabin,
absolutely.
Where I was I know I really should, but I kind of don't want to, but I know I really should, but I don't want to. And then I think there was 2 of the other 2 tanks were taken.
Yeah. When
I think I brought my grandma here, and Anthony was floating. Anthony was in the orb light.
Yep.
So she took stars, and it was a good way to start her anyway. So I was stuck with the floatlight, and it was this. Okay, I'm not trying to be angry at you, but I'm going to get through this, and I'm sorry. I'm actually apologizing to the tank as I'm showering. I'm sorry to take this personally, but
I feel that when you clean them. When you clean them, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, totally. Yeah. Well, and that's interesting too. People always ask me this question: what tank do you prefer? What tank do you prefer? And I'm like, honestly, I walk up to whatever room is available when I come in to float. If all 3 rooms are open, or the day prior, I will go into each room and be like, do you want me? No. Okay. No. Go in the next room. Do you want me? Yes. Okay. Or I'll go, it'll be a little bit iffy, and then I'll go into the other room and be like, okay, are we gonna go in here today? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, all right, well, I guess I'm floating in this room this week.
I'll have to try that next time. Just the feels and the vibes.
The feels,
yeah, man. You already got
absolutely.
that. You already got that edge.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about the feels and vibes, though. I mean, having autism, the superpower that I already have,
yep.
I feel that I can just easily get into a meditative state right away. So being in a float tank, if you can get meditative right away, it's like
That is a true
exponentially
superpower.
so much better.
Oh yeah.
I think it quadruples it. And
Yeah,
that's why I told my friends, if I ever recommended it, try to work on bringing the energy through your hands
Wow.
and all the way through. And that's something I really enjoy too, is just meditating.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the feels and vibes part.
Yeah, so how do you
I'll have to do that.
meditate? Like, is there a specific practice, or you just set 20 minutes, put away, and then you just close your eyes and watch your thoughts?
Yeah, so usually my favorite part about meditating is I'll do it in the morning and I'll do it at night. But what I do is I visualize. I'm a very big advocate on visualizing. So for that day, I'm going to visualize what I want to get myself into and what that's going to be an uncomfortable situation, since every week I want to put myself in one uncomfortable situation. It's not going to be like unhealthy or something, but like, let's say if I see this person looks a little intimidating, I'll say hi to him. And visualizing helps me get to that point.
Yeah.
So
Do you make YouTube videos? Because this is amazing content.
honestly,
working on it.
Yeah, I would watch
working on
this
it,
because
yeah.
I need to like do that.
He's
Yeah.
yeah.
your work. He has a project that you're working on.
Mitch is definitely the head starter
Dude,
on it.
I'll be a
so.
subscriber, definitely.
You can be
So
on the
will
show.
all these people.
Yeah, all these fam can be on the show. As long as you guys bring some kombucha,
Kombucha, we're good.
we're good. We're good.
But and also on hopes, I've had that experience too. One time I left the door open just to crack, so I was like, man, like my tank is like really hot today. Well, there was a huge airflow that came through and it slammed my float door shut, and it scared the living daylights out of me. And I was so confused where I was, because like I could see because the light was on outside of my tank, in the room in the shower, and I could see the door at my feet. So I was really confused because like the door felt like it was, like the long way normally. And I was like, whoa, this is like really weird. Like normally the float tank's like at our sides. And I was like freaking out, and I was like, oh my God, where am I? Like I literally had to go and like physically touch the door to ground myself to like, okay, like no, like I'm here though.
Yeah.
Like I know where I am now.
That's actually funny because Jennifer just put that. She loves the orb because so she doesn't spin around.
Yes.
It was funny, like when we were
Yeah.
talking about thinking about stuff, because when we just had a conversation before we floated, I was literally thinking that situation. I'm like, what the heck is going on right now?
Yeah.
But sometimes I do get the spins and I have to like hold myself. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. But
And it's easier to do it in the pod than it is the cabins, because you don't have that.
true.
Unless you're like hand and foot, like
Yeah.
grounding yourself in that sense.
But that too, I think that's where for me, my technical mind
Love
likes to
Scott.
play around with the stars and stuff, because they are really bright by default.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to shut them off, but
They're
with
so
the
pretty.
right color, they're so pretty. But with the right color or with something else, there's a way you can still. It's almost like it'd be nice if you could turn on, like, make the tanks glow a little bit.
Yes.
Like
That'd be
not like even like if you're put like those glow in the dark stars in your ceiling, you light up charge during the day, or you shine a light on and stick them somewhere. Not even that bright, but just like this ambient like background glow that you
like
can
the
only see.
like the northern light glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
That would
think
be
That
amazing.
would help for people who get turned around in there, like and being turned around and lost. In of itself is good because you've let go enough that you don't know where you're going. So
right.
in one way, congratulations, you just did effective. But I can see how like that's uncomfortable when you do come to to have that little bit of grounding or positioning. And there's what I do when I look for if I don't know where I am and I can't like instead of like I used to panic a lot too the first time I was in there and lost myself, but there's only one wall that doesn't really have anything on it. If you think about it in the
Right.
starlight.
Right.
Otherwise, when you get in, and if your head's like near where the wash or
Jet
cleaning fluid,
Yep.
you'll have the jets.
Okay.
Or you'll have the it looks like a speaker, but it's not.
Yeah.
You have that on by the feet, and then on the wall with the door, you have the door, but then you have the buttons.
Right.
So if you feel on the wall and you don't feel anything, that's how I like got over my panic. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm on the blank wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. I know where I have a starting place. I'm not lost.
In each cabin, there is a blank wall.
Yes. And then I can use that to start to going, because I'm pretty much as you start feeling, you'll know right away which wall you're on because of what you hit.
Right.
And even hitting something tells you where you are. Like, okay, I'm on because the other three walls, or I'm in this corner, or and using those as not I don't want to know where I am, when I come out of that state, I think has really helped me reduce the anxiety I get, so then I can trust, like, I don't care if I get lost. I don't care which way I spin, because there's there.
Right.
If you're someone who keeps the audio on all the time, you can also use that because the speakers are in opposite corners.
Yep.
So as your head starts to, the sound starts to change, and your head starts to feel a little bit more fuller with sound, you'll know you're in one of those two corners. So again, it's another way to orient yourself when you do come out of that void and you're in the dark.
Yeah.
But talking about, sorry for cutting you off, but letting go though, for me, doing this 3 times in a row, my head, I don't know why, but every time I bring it back, I feel like I'm still gonna like put water over my face. So I feel like that's the only thing I don't let go. So what would you guys say that's a good example, just like let go fully?
I would recommend just do it. And if you get salt in your eyes, it's gonna sting.
So be it, yeah.
Yeah, but you just gotta see it.
Right, and I've learned too, like, I'll breathe my way through it.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, like, I'm going to release tension in my neck. I will state it. And then I'll feel everything in my neck and my shoulders relax. And I will feel my head tip back further and further. And then if I'm able to go, I go. But if I don't go, my head just keeps tipping back.
Yeah.
Like, I've had the water up to here sometimes.
Oh, dang.
Because my neck needed that, though.
Yeah.
Because I needed to release that tension in there.
Okay.
Granted, like, the float tanks are able to hold your heads up, but when you truly let go in that sense, like, it's truly amazing the relief that you can get out of it. I've had that happen, and then, like, I did it, like, towards the end. So then I was like, okay, well, like, I know, like, if I do this, like, I'm gonna have to get out and shower now. Like, so, like, and I did, and, like, I got out, like, showered, rinsed my face up, and just, like, hopped back in, and I was fine.
Yeah.
But
and there's the stuff to rinse out.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh yeah. And there's another way, the flotage journey.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to let
getting
go
a
and go
massage
deeper.
before will help release the tension there.
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, talking about the flotage, Scott Bateman here, or Bayman.
Yeah, Scott Bayman.
The Reiki energy. That's interesting. I never heard of that.
Yep.
So does it get you in more of a meditative state right away?
You've probably heard me talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and for Mitch and I both, I mean, we're both,
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch is the Reiki master. I'm level 2 now.
Well, you're a Reiki master.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what is a Reiki master? Can they just give energy just by touching?
So
Not touch.
Yeah, the energy transfer doesn't matter, and sometimes you maybe even have been picking it up off me and not know it.
Yep.
But the one thing with Reiki, which is, when people say that, the first thing I say is if I try to push something on you and you don't want it or you're not ready for it, especially that you don't want it, I'm the one who's going to get the negative effects from.
Right.
So it's not like, if I was a physical person, right, and I wanted to hit you, I mean, you're probably going to take me down first, but say I catch you off guard, right, you're the one who's going to take the brunt, maybe my fist, depending on where, but that's not how Reiki works.
Okay.
And even the intent behind the usage, even if the person's ready for it, if the person sending doesn't really have the best intentions, it's going to come back on the person.
Right.
So there's this almost that once you start working with Reiki, if you're gonna call upon that power, you better make darn sure that you're in the right state of mind and you're doing it with the best intentions for that. And you can I could go and take the kombucha and infuse all the kombucha with energy. I'm sure the brewing process of that, the bacteria and stuff in there that they use, just like the fermenting, that would love that. Yeah. But and it's very passive. So as you get to different levels, the first one I'd say is more of like it's your awakening to the energy.
Okay. Because for me, I just had Reiki about 2 weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. It was almost as good as the float, but without the zero gravity feeling. Right. I couldn't get my body into a full meditative state. However, when she was doing Reiki and she was pressing on my shoulders just very lightly, I felt like there was more energy coming into me. And I was a little skeptical. I was like, well, I don't think there'll be any more energy. But you said you have to get the right frame of mind, and I think that I kind of hit the boundary of level 1, and you said that's like the feeling of the energy coursing through you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really the awakening, getting to know the energy,
Okay.
being opened up to it. You know, depending on who your teacher is, you
Can't
may
wait to see you,
get
Hope.
access for different things or different guides. But you know, if you don't get any of that stuff at your level 1, you'll definitely get that level 2 and how to work.
Okay.
And it is like you get some stuff, but I would, you know, yes, it's universal energy, so you can send back out. But how my teacher did it for me was level 1 was more like mostly myself, and I can do this in others, but that's not how the teaching was guided for. Level 2 was others, and level 3 was universe, time, space, and kind of the mastery of everything, which I think level 2 kind of for her also did like a little bit of the time and space stuff, but it was mostly like if I had to kind of do a core focus of each skill, it was self, other, mastery of, and different things like to go send energy to an event that happened to be in the past or someone out in the past or forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, things like that, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, I guess would be the best way to kind of describe it. And I found that, you know, yes, I picked up stuff from my teacher who got from her teacher who got from that teacher.
Yeah.
And she actually had 2 different teachers, 2 did different ways, and she combined both.
Wow.
You know, I found that, you know, and I don't know, I think I'm actually tapping into something way more powerful than Reiki and even more powerful than the Kundalini.
Yep. And
I found, or just different ways, I found that for me especially that, again, that the gentle touching, which maybe you or anyone else who works in massage can kind of relate to, but so I actually find that my best work on people is the gentle, barely touching their skin, activating the hairs, getting the goosebumps. Like people, like I'll get people like they're like twitch releasing, and it's not like I just tickled you and you know, or poked you and twitched, but like they're like stuff that has been so stubborn that I could probably like pound on them with a mallet or just, you know, sit on them with all my body pressure, trying to work that knot out, that their body, like just by doing that gently gets them to twitch. And not everyone seems to be able to make that work for them.
Okay.
Right.
Or at different levels, you know, and so that's really interesting how that works.
Absolutely.
And but then, you know, bring that energy and those type of experience back into either massage or like energizing the tank, because even though it goes through the filtration, like if you charge the tank, that Reiki is going to be there for the next person, you know, and that could have been what happened, that maybe someone charged the tank today and I didn't, you know, I'm picking up on it, you know, it just
That's true.
really depends on who's done it or who's been there. I mean, it will dissipate, but it depends too, like how the person charged. Maybe they got a sense that it needs to be charged for the next person. Maybe it's gonna, you know, stay for a week.
Can't wait to see you, Hope.
Yes. And
Really
being
excited.
a cool thing, like where would I find this exactly? Would I search the web or
What's up?
would I find?
Yeah.
Oh.
The flotage. Obviously.
Oh, right.
She's the only one who does the flotage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she specializes in Reiki and orthobiotomy and many other techniques.
Wow. All right.
I do a lot of energy work with people. I've been doing ortho again, which not a lot of people have been needed, but now it's coming back full circle. So it's like super cool.
They'll need it when they have to shovel.
Yeah, right. I actually just did ortho on a woman, and she was totally like mind blown.
Wow.
And she was like, "Is this some like witchcraft stuff going on here?" And I like totally geeked out laughing because I was like,
Were you looking at what was it, the craniosacral at one point?
yeah, I was looking at craniosacral for a while. That one, you know, money wise is like super expensive.
Sure, but you, at least if you learn some techniques from that, you can bring that into.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know, even if you don't actually do the physical practices, you can bring that in. You know, and
Yep.
I wonder too if somehow I've maybe picked up on, because I haven't really studied it, but having it done on me,
Right.
I've found myself doing some things from it
Right.
that,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, it just is like I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing this, but I'm getting a sense this is right, so I'm going to do this, and it ends up working.
Absolutely. I mean, even for me, like, you know, I can look at somebody and I can be like, okay, I know exactly what's wrong with you. I can feel it. I can sense it. A lot of things like that I know. Okay. Even when somebody comes in, like, we'll start talking and it'll go on a range from, okay, we're gonna need, you know, this today, and then I'll bring up like energy work, or I'll bring up like ortho, or both, and then it'll be like, oh, and then like my guides will be like, oh no, this is what's needed, and I'm like, oh well, we're gonna do this today, are you okay with that? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, like I trust you. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this, and then I transition into that, and being able to take them, you know, onto that, but it's always what that person needs. You know, I can combine all three of them. I can do two of them. I can do just one of them. You know, it's kind of in that sense of that as well.
Gotcha.
But in another thing, it's just really cool.
It is. To add on to that as well, when you were saying like the energy and how you kind of knew what they already wanted, for me, for the longest time, I always knew nonverbal, like what people were thinking, and I just like.
Wow.
It was weird because even before, if it was like heightened, because if someone was not looking at me, then it felt like I couldn't talk, or something of that sort. So how did you control that energy and use it in a positive way, would you say?
From
just
somebody not knowing what they wanted to knowing what they wanted.
Yeah.
So I've learned to just listen.
Okay.
People can kind of tell me a little bit, kind of like what's going on with them. Some people do specifically ask for certain things, but when somebody's like indecisive and they're like, well, I'm interested in this, this, and this, and I'm like, okay, well, why don't we try this? So it's kind of like sometimes like I've had somebody come in and like, I was like, I need to do energy work on you. Like, and they're like, okay. I'm like, all right, like we're just going to do this.
Yeah.
So it just kind of works that way. And sometimes it can be very heavy, you know, needing them to be open to it when they're not accepting of it. And I've had that happen too, where like I was like, okay, like this, and if one thing doesn't work, then I'll transition it to another thing. And that's kind of in a sense where like I am so grateful for all the tools that are in my toolbox, because, you know, I have 3 different modalities that I can use on somebody, whether I incorporate it all together or all separately or pieces together from each.
Wow.
I can still transition that into something that they will still need in a sense.
That's really interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm learning more and more every day, but it's getting really good. But we're actually going to transition into the center that you gentlemen are at.
Okay.
So we have a clip
where we met.
from
That's where we
there.
Cool.
That John will be transitioning into.
What?
This is what they showed. Samples.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah, from the Treffert Center.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi, I'm Tara Geyer,
And I'm Brian Mischler.
and we are thrilled to share with you guys today what we've been working on here at the Treffert Center with the leadership group.
Our leadership group is composed of a bunch of amazing young individuals with amazing talents, and we are looking to find a project that would bring all their unique abilities together in a fun and engaging way.
So we started on an adventure with exploring different medias. We worked on photography, film, voiceover, acting, and we would go through courses. We had savant type people in their own right come in, Skype in, and talk with the guys and help them learn and hone in on their crafts. Along the way, we realized it would really be beneficial to start doing project-based learning. So that kind of brought us to what we have today.
So we used their unique talents and focused on vocational skills, executive functioning, self-regulation, social communication, and put it all together into a fun and engaging package.
I think along the way we just came across so many unique talents in the art world. So there were some guys that were really extraordinarily talented at art or editing, camera work, what else? Music. Oh my gosh, some really great talents in music.
Acting.
And a lot of those talents are missed throughout everyday school, throughout everyday life. Maybe those specific talents are kind of pushed to the wayside. As we've gone and we've progressed and we've been filming things now, we really just seen that teamwork, the confidence building in these guys. They're working through those social pieces that in other environments where you're kind of sitting at a desk and you're meant to just stay here and do this, you maybe would see a lot more behaviors or different sort of conflicts. And in this environment, everyone's just free to be who they are and use the talents and abilities that they have and really thrive. So that kind of brings us to the specific project we're working on now. And we've discovered this fun, unique way to really take Dr. Treffert's legacy and let it live on forever. So we're really excited to share this little intro clip with you guys today. Check it out. Hope you all enjoyed the clip.
Each episode will contain early academics, music, movement, sensory integration, social skills, and self-regulation.
We're also looking to advocate for people across all neurodiverse abilities. Everyone's got some sort of talent, and it's just recognizing what it is. So looking for those little signs in people.
I think being creative and trying to create a sense of community are probably the three most important things. Highlighting talents, bringing the unique talents from the group that you're working with out into the world. I think that's probably what Tara had already said. Everybody's looking for that type of engagement.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Just hanging out in the office. Be sure you check out our YouTube channel. We'll be sending in a lot of videos. Remember to subscribe. Bye!
Run a podcast.
Audio.
Really not enough.
Yeah, we know.
Well, they're all busy.
Okay, we're back now. We think.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
So,
I don't know. We're back.
Yep. So that video was it's everyone who was part of making it happen, besides Brian and Tara, are on the spectrum, and it uses their creative gifts to do that. So you saw me talking Spencer through how I do lighting, which is the same rig that is lighting up Megan right now. I mean, not the same model, not that. and you saw me working, kind of doing some direction before, kind of helping, there were some questions that was being asked to kind of help guide that, but it's, doing things like that and being able to do that. And then from this group, right, it's bringing out the talent together so Spencer can start doing his stuff. Yep. Or there's another one who's really good with camera work that you saw in that video. He's getting a production company started.
Wow.
Very skilled what he does.
Getting some people doing the drawing work that they do, some of it's supposed to look way better than not. And there's, it's finding to bring all those talents together.
And just to cut in a little bit, Mitch is very humble because him and the production person are actually in, I believe, are you guys making movies as well? Because that's amazing.
We're working on making movies, and if there is anything, I can't actually talk about that stuff yet.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
There is some stuff. I know I'm actually working on.
Okay.
I'm actually helping. So I went to Valley New School. It's a project-based charter school, which is the foundation for another school that they did, which is Treffert Way.
Okay. Whoa.
That's again more project-based. One of the seniors has to do a senior project, which is basically the culmination of his time there. He needs to do it to graduate, and he found investors and everything. He's putting together a short film.
Wow.
Because I come in every once in a while as an alumni. I started mentoring him with audio, like, okay, your scenes call for this, so here's how I might tackle this, or this is what I'm going to look for. Helped him introduce to some people, which I actually brought him over to Pixel Audio here in town in Appleton, which they're like 4 doors down from Footlight, not even. And they were really great in helping him out and doing that. And David Patella, which he actually has his own sound studio that he does. So he brings that work thing, got them working on that. Which then he's like, well, why do I want to go look for a sound guy when I have a sound guy already right here?
Why not? So
we're going to be doing shooting in February, which that's fun because as a sound person, what you hear in film is not what you hear in real life a lot of time for stuff. A gunshot is a lot different than that.
Yeah.
A car crash. If any of you who've been in car crashes remember that, they make it. There's a lot of flourish and a lot of fanciness that they do that. So as a sound designer and a person who works with sound, you're basically go using Foley and other stuff to create that sound, right? To get that extra glass that's creaking. How do you do that when your tires are screeching? Because whether you hit another car or you're trying to stop or you don't stop, if it's hit a pole or hit whatever, that all plays into how you design sound. So that's gonna be really fun to do because we're actually shooting some on a subway, and then we're actually getting to crash a car, which
Yes.
Stay
safe, guys.
And this is
we're not.
I'm
not crashing
stay
the
safe
car.
for the guy.
I'm not crashing the car. But we're recording. The scene calls for a car crash. He got funding for it, so we're going to be destroying cars, and we're in the sense of recording audio.
Wow,
Wow,
that's so cool.
So I'm really excited. We could just go find a library and whatever, but for me, I get to be there destroying the car in a sense.
That's better than going to a library. I'd rather crash a car.
Yeah.
Well, they're beneficial in their own way, but I hope you're not crashing a car into a library because that's
no,
that's a whole different story.
It's in the topic of the day.
But the whole I'm going to get that weighty thunk.
Yep.
But then based on how the director wants, now I get to add that flourish. So I'm probably going to be getting a couple sheets of glass, smashing the windows in or breaking the glass to get that extra stuff. Maybe screwing tires, things like that. The different things that you now have to do to make that. It's not just crashing the car, which already is how many people get to just go, yeah, what did you do today? I crashed a car. That's multiple times. You now get to bring in stuff like that. So that adds to the fun stuff. So that what I can talk about, but you're also doing fun stuff if I remember.
Oh yeah. Well, if you guys ever check it out, the Treffert Center group that we have, there's 6 people that have done blogs about what form of autism they have and how they overcame it, and they're still working on it today. And there I'm going to do some 2-minute videos of how Asperger's what means to me, and just things that were relatable to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I want to make it relatable, and I want to make sure that everyone goes through mental toughness. It doesn't matter who you are. There's going to be struggles in life. And what I like to say is that struggles are the stepping stones to success in our life.
Oh, yes.
Because if we live in a life that does not struggle,
Yeah.
we're just not really living. And what I mean by that is we're just living life just as a passer. Like we're watching, we're not playing
Wow.
the game.
Wow.
And that's why I wanted to do a 2-minute podcast, because for me, being on here, I feel like there's going to be a bunch of critics and everything like that, but like, no
They
what?
love us.
This is a cool way for me to go outside my comfort zone, be with all of you great guys. And honestly, if you guys really have any questions, I'd really hit the Treffert Center, just because Brian and Tara are both amazing. And Tara's actually an actress. So
She was on a couple episodes of, I think, Dexter.
Dexter, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look, because we know her as, she's not listed as, she's under something else for IMDb. And I have to see what episodes they are. But yeah, I mean, she's done a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't even, like, but it's
crazy.
That's crazy.
It is.
So
yeah,
much
and actually,
talent.
there's actually an interesting
Concentrated.
tie-in, because Tara did her master's thesis on autism and flotation tanks.
Dang, and flotation tanks.
Yeah.
And she's not even
What
here.
are the odds?
Yeah.
Darn.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought when I first met her, because I started talking about
Get her as a
Floatlight.
guest on the Floating Out Live.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Her and Brian would be great. We'd love to
Both
have
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm,
If you guys want to set that up, that'd be great.
we're trying.
I know Brian's going to come and float, but gotta get her to come float too.
And through that too, if you like what we're actually doing there, we met through the group, but we both do different things at the center. I mean, I help with the Treffert Way. I'm gonna be doing more so probably the summer and next year, and I also help with the research studies they're doing, which is about how gluten and it is lactate. I keep everyone's like, what? What do you mean lactate? Like that's milk.
Yeah.
What do you mean? How does that to the brain? But it is lactate, or basically how that when you get to carbs, it builds to that, and then normally by positive interaction, that creates another. I think it creates a chemical from that the brain then generates from all that. That without the positive interaction or the exercise or things like that, it then creates things. It will sit there, and that builds anxiety.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop you just for a second before I forget that, because for me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm never really happy, and that's a tough thing for me because I have to work out to get the endorphins, or I have to communicate with people and give more value back to them, even if they're a jerk and they don't say anything. It's still, I feel like I'm going out of my way and helping people, and to say what Mitch was saying, I'd like that positive experience for me, and that energy just siphons it up.
Yeah. Just kind of, so we're doing that research study, so that's interesting because I do like my research. But, you do something very different.
All different perspectives.
Yeah, what do you, I'm saying, you do something very different.
Oh, yeah.
What you do is ...
Oh, yeah. Well, what I do is I have to have a positive mindset. I have to fake it until I make it. Every day, I have a structured routine. Structure is necessary for me to be the best way I can. And the first thing I do is I visualize for 20 minutes what I'm going to do, and then I have a cold shower, which me and Dan were talking about before. Bam! It's kind of hard to be in this kimono, but
Cold showers.
that's what's up. Because for me, cold showers actually wake up the body. Jim Quick has a really cool thing. He actually says it creates a more thinking mind.
Yep.
But for me, I've only did it for about 2 months. However, I feel it actually heals the body, and it gets me awake. And I don't drink coffee. I just do cold showers. The next thing I do is I have blueberries.
Yep.
And I also took that from Jim Quick. It just sharpens my mind. It makes me feel more energized. I've never been a morning person, but after doing these cold showers, I feel that if I win the morning, I feel like it's just a snowball effect.
Yeah, man.
And then what you do at the Treffert Center,
Oh, yes.
which is what I was really leading to.
Sorry.
I mean, it's good. You have to get up. You have to do this.
I gotta
get to work. But once you're at work,
Once I'm at work,
what do you do there?
What I do there is I help mentor autistic kids, but I'm also a physical savant. So what that means is I like to throw people. I like to get my hands on people, and do that.
He doesn't throw kids.
I do not throw kids.
Don't.
Kids throw me. Let's just get that out of there. But
Clear the air real quick.
also I'm learning from Mitch how to do audio because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I love dancing. The beats. And like what we said before, like halfway through the segment, I feel the rhythm, the beats, how the sensory plays and everything, and just the music. Like there's a cool YouTube that's Magnetic Minds, and I listen to that, and there's like this ADHD one. Honestly, that takes after 5 minutes of listening to it, it takes all my thoughts away. So I can actually do like a lot of good work without all these thoughts. Because otherwise I'll be thinking about one thing, I'll be obsessing over it. But
I just need to get you to play Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
It's a VR game where you're basically destroying blocks based on tempo and music.
Get a workout in while you're at it.
But going back to the main point, I think for me, guys, is honestly being an advocate for mental health and autism, because I feel that autism is actually, I feel they're at a higher pedestal than the average person in their way of thinking. Like an extreme example, I think this 12-year-old had like a degree, 2 college degrees in science already. But he couldn't do simple science, he couldn't do simple addition, and his communication was okay, but they labeled him a broken brain. And I don't understand.
The astrophysicist guy,
I think it was the astrophysicist
Because
guy.
what I heard from him was actually that he's like one of the leading experts in astrophysics, but because he does math differently on how...
Sorry.
You just read that comment.
I love you, Hope.
Yeah, I hope you're hilarious.
How he does his math is kind of like how I was describing you unconsciously doing with your muscles and applying pressure and stuff. He does that with shadows and how objects move and stuff. And that's not something that you can go write a chalkboard and describe it up.
Spatial awareness.
Yes, but if you know how to do the math when other people kind of check his work, he's right.
True.
Wow.
But it's that we all have that ability when we're doing that in our own way. Like we are all doing that when we drive.
Exactly. Yep. And the thing is, I didn't just learn it. There was another cool segment. I think it was their mother. She said the 10,000 hour rule. So it takes 10,000 hours to master something. It's like when Beethoven was 6 or 7, he already knew how to be a master pianist. He already had over 1,000 hours in.
Yep.
And that was because everyone thinks, the iceberg effect. Because when you see someone at a really cool thing, you don't see how much work and effort they put into it. You maybe see about 10%. But I think hard work can get you anywhere. And that's why I say greatness isn't everyone. But success you have to do. You have to put yourself in there.
I want to go run right now.
Let's do it. That's another thing. I honestly, guys, I love running in cold weather. I'll put shorts, a shirt on, and I'll walk a mile outside to wake up my body. And that's something I'm doing. I'm not going to say I do it every day, but I'm trying to, if I preach it, I got to do it myself.
Yeah, man.
And
I was like, damn.
Yo,
breathing exercise.
Yeah, I was like, I think with some breathing exercises, man. How do we do this? Because
we're gonna do this.
We're gonna. I'll show you guys.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
So we're ending.
We are.
Is there anything else you wanna?
Yeah. Any other comments y'all want to say?
I was gonna say if there's people watching that have questions or comments.
Yeah. If y'all have any questions, comments.
Try and
let us know.
More talking yourselves, but let people give a chance to talk or.
Yeah. If y'all got any questions, we'll do it. We'll answer them when Stan goes through his breathing exercises.
Yeah.
But this is a request by Steve.
And that too, John, I'm not sure if you guys can, what I have set up to the right of me. I'm not sure if that's in camera or not, but we can.
Oh, I can put it in camera.
Yeah, we'll show that afterwards too.
So as a request of Steve Corner, we are going to go on the Wim Hof method application on iOS or Android, and we are going to do
oops, sorry, I was trying to get the body ready.
Basics.
There we go.
Okay, let's try to get this on the mic. Tell me if it's too loud.
Fully in and letting go. Breathe in, breathe out. Go with the flow of the breath. In, out. In, out. Into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. Whenever you feel a reflex, lightheadedness, loosiness in the body, let go and stop breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In with peace, out with stress. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. Whenever you feel a reflex, lightheadedness, loosiness in the body, let go and stop breathing. Nice, deep, circular breaths. Breath hold from now on. Let the body do what the body is capable of doing. Be aware of your heartbeat. Slow it down and just be in this moment. Let that relaxation spread down to your toes, into your fingertips, to the base of your neck and head. You're doing fantastic. One minute. Feel. Take a deep breath in and hold. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Fully in and letting go. Let your breathing return to normal as you finish up the round. Move your body bit by bit, starting with your fingers and your toes. Thanks for your time, and I wish you a good night, or a good day, and a good life.
Now, that was only the first round of the Wim Hof method. The Wim Hof method is 90 rounds, so we did about 30 breaths, and at the end of a session, you do 90.
I was actually really tired, but I don't know if it was the float, but I was getting like a really good...
That's what it does, bro.
...hit. I don't know if it was the kombucha or this, but...
That was the straight breathing techniques.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was my first time.
Yeah, you're raising your kundalini from your root chakra into your pineal gland up to your crown chakra as well. Or, in other words, you're over-oxygenating your cells, and you're actually finally taking full breaths. We don't breathe, bro. Okay. In yoga, they say the quality of your breath correlates to the quality of your life. If you're taking short, shallow breaths, that's the life you're going to live. If you're taking long, deep, full breaths, that's just better for your life, you know? How do you feeling, Mitch? Did you have a little bit longer? Because I stopped because I saw you let go. And like I let go, and Mitch, you were still going. Were you still?
Actually, I wasn't. So when I started hearing this, let me explain.
Yeah.
Every method is different.
Yeah.
But first, as an audio person and someone trained vocally, this is everything that I'm not supposed to be training. Chest breathing. Is actually like I'm trained to breathe from the belly.
That's what you're doing, man. You know,
as
low as you can go.
But he said chest breathing specifically. So
No, he said full let go until you feel your chest like that.
right, but you're not supposed to be feeling your chest.
Oh,
You're not.
Because like you're supposed to breathe from the belly, and that's where you get that. Like, so like you can see when people run, when they're just like, you know, like it looks like they're popping, or when they're how they're breathing. Your chest breathing.
Yeah.
That's where we spend most of our time.
Okay.
Breathing. When we're shallow breathing, when we're doing like, you know, not, and I will clarify that this is a good way to get back that. But when we're doing that, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like when you're running and you can't control your breathing, that's how you are doing it. Which is why,
exactly,
like it's work. Like you're getting back into that running state.
Yeah.
But when you're doing the sustaining breaths, the calm breaths, you're actually it's when people say belly breathe, that's actually what you're bringing into it. So again, different method. Going to work for some people, not for me.
Yep.
Part of, again, like I'm going to say maybe it's my training, but also I felt this was more like I'm going to go and get a quick fix rather than let's do a sustainable problem solve.
True.
But like you said too, we only heard the first part.
Then there's 90. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
By giving a sample, it's hard to say that a sample's going to be, you know, this one sample is there, but as the initial thing, you know, a different approach for me might be to you know, to take slower, deeper breaths that, you know, you know, like, that not huffing, that you're slowly filling up a balloon,
and that's the next level, making it your own.
Exactly.
and, you know, and doing that. So you know, maybe I just somehow, you know,
As long as you're breathing, he just wants you to breathe, because we're not breathing, bro. There's no oxygen in our brains. That's why you feel good. This is how you're supposed to feel all the time.
We have no oxygen in our brains
because
we're not breathing.
I love you, Melissa. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Melissa is the best.
Yeah.
Yes, we all.
Yes.
So if you would like to experience more, download on any smartphone the Wim Hof method on your app store. They have it on iOS. They have it on Android. I don't know about Google Play, but I'm sure you can find the videos out on YouTube.
Daniel, we're gonna make a Daniel method.
Yes, actually.
And everybody, contact Wim Hof. Go to every platform you can find, anywhere you can find Wim Hof, and tell him,
come here.
Float Light is calling.
Yep. And by the way, just to end it up, we are making a challenge. We are doing the Wim Hof 90-step challenge. It's a marathon. Yes.
Wait, for a real marathon, we would have to do it an hour.
An hour?
No, we gotta do 15 minutes first.
Okay.
First, you gotta do the 90 breaths, bro.
I'm already tired.
You're doing the challenge not in the stream, but it's gonna be a challenge you're doing.
Oh, for sure.
90-day Wim Hof challenge.
Oh, not 90 day, just the 90-step challenge.
90 breaths. 90 breaths. Full. Yeah, that was just the warm up. Okay. That was like, we held our breath for about 1 minute. I held my breath. Well, it's actually not holding your breath. It's a breath retain, which means you exhale. You're gonna want to exhale and not taking another breath. You don't want to hold in a breath because that could ruin your capillaries on the inside.
Oh.
You want to exhale and then not breathe in. And I held mine for 4 minutes, and I could still go longer.
And I have asthma too.
I think you could go longer because you're an athlete.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And you already do the cold showers too. But thank you everyone for trying this out.
All right, guys.
And I hope you're reaping benefits.
Final words.
Honestly, guys, this has been super. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show.
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Your soup's here, man.
Guys, we're all gonna get sushi'd, so we're gonna head out.
Yeah, it's a negative.
But Dan, please take it away for the end.
You know a sushi place open this late? What?
Nope.
What about Mitch? Do you have any final words, Mitch?
Mitch wants to show something quick, so I'm gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
Just more if we had time, but
I think
we're in the void, bro.
We're in the void. We gotta keep going.
So John's getting it set up. I have something to the right of me that I was doing as a test. With the, you know, we're not just talking about it like John's setting it up, but I have something set up here that is the gear that I'm now working with. So this is inside that blimp is one of the microphones I will be recording with, and I'll be bringing that to the float tanks for future stuff.
You're on me. You're on me.
Aries was supposed to switch it.
Did he?
Switch it to the
Yes.
that one.
So yeah, and in there's a microphone. Just
It's because there's a delay.
you know, I have a tripod and stuff, but we're recording all of tonight's audio is recorded on this. So you guys get a glimpse, kind of too, of what's going on. But no,
True,
that's
Steve.
I guess closing that everyone has their own gifts, and it's it's really good to figure out what those are, and
Yes.
those will bring them. Even if you don't think you're special, there's something special about you. You just haven't discovered yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or this thing that you've been really negative about yourself.
Yes.
Whether
It's okay.
something oh, I'm only seem to focusing on this stuff, or things like that. That's telling you something. You're only focusing on that because you have a talent there. You're enjoying this for some reason.
True.
Figure out maybe try to figure out what that is, because that's your special talent that is trying to show itself if you have not let it.
And the reason why we're negative is because we do care. If we didn't have negative feelings, we just wouldn't care. We'd be fine with who we are.
And it's interesting you say that too. Final words are if you're in that negative set, you're manifesting that stuff. Really.
For sure. Like what Tony Robbins said, manifest that negative feelings for 5 seconds, and he said, appreciate that your brain is doing that.
So a thing for us to leave on. If you spend as much time in your anxiety brain as you did on something productive, how further would you be in life?
We'd all be millionaires. We'd all own businesses.
Exactly.
It wouldn't matter. We get it done.
So what's preventing us from doing that? Anxiety or stress?
Yeah. Our grade.
It's literally ourselves. The other thing, get out of your own way. I am learning this through my mentor, through and through. Get out of your own way. That's my biggest thing for tonight. Because if you are in your own way, it will prevent you from going to the next step and moving forward. All right? 2 weeks for live? We're back. Oh, Dan, quick. BFF kombucha this week.
Oh, yes. Very important.
On tap this week, we have orange juice and ginger, echinacea, and cayenne pepper, and acai, the superfood of Brazil.
All those together?
No, those are the 3 flavors. Yeah,
There just was no comma.
Yeah, come on in and feel free to mix them up and taste it how you like. If you want,
we will not run out this time.
Oh yeah, and congratulations to everybody. We have sold out 2 weeks in a row. Let's sell out this week with 25 gallons on tap. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this, guys.
And I have final words.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, after you.
I'm pumped. I'm
We
ready to go.
also have vacation destination coming up on the 25th. We also have our special guests of Ron and Tammy joining us. They're doing another energy day with us. So I highly recommend both of you coming in for it. People who have their floats scheduled, please, if you want that little boost before, come check them out. They'll be here from 1 to 4, correct? They'll be 1 to 4. Also, if you're looking to add it on top of your flotage, you can stop in, talk to them. It's usually about 10 minutes. Then you can get some work done with me and then do a float, or one or the other, or all 3. Combine them all as you may.
You should bring it up, Megan. Talk about it.
A Death by Chocolate is also in February. We also will be doing that as well. Another event that we will soon be launching on and talking about once that does get a little bit closer as well.
And by the way, for those guys, the higher the chocolate content, it actually boosts your brain memory and drive. So I would actually do Death by Chocolate. Higher percentage, put in a shake. There you go. Win the challenge.
We have
Boom.
25 seconds till exactly 90 minutes.
Well, we're leaving now. Bye, y'all. We out.
Bye.
Bye.